butterfly wings, wrecked in the spring. And I'm golden from my toes and I'm reading poems and I'm singing songs. Got the neo soul, I got the tongue tight. See it in my eyes, see it in my thigh. Rolling around, singing no frown. Figure of speech, analogy, simile, and allegory. Rhymes give me tongue tied, speech of my third eye. Angels on my side, rain that is God's ground. Emanate the shaman sound, bathing dirt in the ground. Now there's village and people, we all play our part. There's naked children running on about. Mothers and sisters, daughters and sons. Room for everyone. Dancing and singing, no phone is ringing. Babies is peeing while they aunties is clinging. Young girls, patrons of the earth. Young girls, take care of all the earth. Young girls, they need their own respect. Young girls, carry babies from their neck. Young girls, young girls. Young girls, young girls, young girls, young girls, patrons of the earth. Young girls, young girls, young girls, nipples dripping nectar for the youth. We play with plants and we don't watch cartoons. Washing the rivers and prepare our food. This is what young girls do. Goddess of the moon, stars in the sky. Jah took me high and Ra get me by. Young girls, young girls, young girls.
Yat Asia and Regata Inisha, Chanjikin Inishla, Toba Hambashachin, Kiani Dashache, Torachitni Dashanala. I'm Navajo, and that is how I introduce myself. I'm of the Honeycomb Rock people, born for Water's Edge. My maternal grandfather's clan is Towering House. My paternal grandfather's clan is Bitterwater. I live out in Navajo Station, Arizona. I moved back in 2018. Two of my sisters were fixing up one of my grandparents' is Hogan. My grandparents raised sheep all their lives. Where we live is the summer sheep camp, and where my grandmother lives is the winter sheep camp. For a while, nobody was living out at the summer sheep camp, and they helped clean it back up and revive it and bring it back to livable conditions. So I was really inspired by what they did. I wanted to come home. I wanted to be a part of that. I love being around my niece at my grandma's so that my niece can have the same type of experiences that I had growing up and how that has shaped me as a person. I'm very thankful I'm out here. I really wanted to do more community work. I had seen this one flyer about a social justice program with Indigenous Lifeways, and it resonated with me. I wanted to join because I wanted to be a better communicator for my community. I like to stay informed and like to keep my family informed. So I just wanted to be able to offer myself in that way. It's been a very nurturing experience. I really wanted to get involved with my community. It really inspired me to move home. I wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to help my little sister raise my younger niece, and I wanted to help take care of my grandma. She's 99 years old. And she's been a sheep herder all her life. And eventually, I want to live that kind of life. I want to live the life my grandparents had. I know it was very tough, but there's something very deep about being out here, about engaging with the land, about, sitting and just hearing the wind, knowing there's nobody around you for miles. It's really comforting. And I feel like a lot of people need that type of inner peace, especially now more than ever. And I wanted to come out here and nurture that relationship, and in a way reciprocate it with my grandparents. I know they set up this life for us just by the examples of how they lived. And I strive to live that type of life. And I see living out here as a reciprocation, as returning that love my grandparents had for us to endure this type of life. It is very hard work. We live on the mesa. These are desert conditions that they sheep herded in. So I wanted to help care for that and return that love and legacy as well. So it's been an awesome journey, and I want to continue this journey. And I really want to uphold that, share that with my nieces, my nephews, and grandkids. I really want them to come home, or want all of us to go home. And by home, I mean, the land, to nature. Once you know that type of life, you know how much you want to protect it. When I joined the social justice program, learning more about the uranium mine spill, it really hurts. Right now, looking at where those waterways are, it's completely dried up. And the winds out here are intense. So a lot of that gets carried up. And we end up breathing this in the air. It's traceable. They can even find trace amounts of uranium in breast milk out here. That's how much it has infiltrated our bodies. This is also at a time when we were first being introduced to a wage economy. And a lot of people mostly wanted to help and provide for their family. So we were exploited. We were not told the safety precautions. We were not told adverse effects. And we are still dealing with them today. There's over 1,000 abandoned mines across the res. And what's going to be done about that? Who's going to know how much of that is radioactive? How much is toxic waste?
We have this connection to the land, this connection to the earth. As babies, we bury our umbilical cords to have that physical tether to the mother, to Mother Earth. And this plays out even as we are kids, and we hear the songs when we were kids, and it's mapping out this whole world for us in our subconscious. And also what ceremony has done for us is create these psychic coping mechanisms for our brain to create different and new pathways to overcome whatever hardship was in our life. And I feel like that is something that the mass does not have access to. And I feel like that is one way that we are privileged, that I am privileged to be able to be given these coping mechanisms in the form of ceremony, songs, and prayers that have helped me to map out and give order to my subconscious. So when I do operate in the larger world, I have these tools that I didn't even know I had. An important recognition that sets you up for the rest of your life, that it's established, it's been there. And I feel like it is brown people who should recognize this privilege and extend it to melanated people, just to come and see, the space, to hold space for each other. I think that's what it is. To hold space and to remember to have an empathetic heart and mind towards the melanated peoples, because I feel their treatment is a foretelling of how Native people can be treated. How it's like a looking glass into the future of how that cognitive dissonance plays out on the larger American mindset, and you can tell by its attitudes towards the people of color. And so that part is really difficult to overcome, and it comes with its own obstacles. But I feel like if we can just reconnect people with the land, then they can in turn just internalize it and start to do the work for themselves on however they need to heal, to get their sense of wholeness back. And I feel like anti-Blackness should not exist. On any Indian reservation, there should be no anti-Blackness, because they're our relatives. They're us. They need protection. They are sacred. They are of the earth as well. They have origin stories. They have creation stories. This house was left dilapidated for over a decade. It was just too painful for Grandma to come back here to bring the sheep back over here again. And so it just sat here and the animals took it over. So when the grandchildren said, we want to live here and make it livable again, I feel like we're healing like this family wound, or this space that was left open when Grandpa left. And I feel like it's been hugely nourishing to see our aunts and uncles come back over to this house and spend time at this house again, because they're no longer avoiding it out of pain and hurt. Now they're showing up for us out of love and gratitude. And we want to make it a center of make it the center of balance, where you do find balance, where you can come back. And it is a place of healing. People that have come here have this overwhelming feeling of peace when they come here. And it is become that, because it has been our sanctuary as grandchildren who do not want to adhere to, Western's idea of success. And that's why I moved back from the Hogan, was because I feel like I became disillusioned as to what success was, or what it meant to. Yeah, the idea of success. It was no longer what I thought it was to me. And I could listen to myself and realize that things were not right. My situation was not right, living in a big city, trying to live with all that concrete, all those people. And it's chaotic. It is chaotic. And I can see how our people get lost in that wheel of renting, that wheel of working, the wheel of leases, the wheel of It's just easier to sign back up, yeah, to that life, even though it's not fulfilling, it's not feeding our spirit, it's actually doing the opposite. It almost like ate my soul living in the city. So I had to come home to save my soul. Like, it's land and this place where my grandparents live is my salvation. It's my sanctuary. And it helped bring me back to myself, where I could see and recognize myself once again and want to have good things for myself and see the life that I want to carry forward. And I felt that immediately once I stepped back onto the land. Once I crossed that welcome to the Navajo Res, like, I could see the land, I could see the open skies, and that in itself was just so overwhelming because I knew I had missed this feeling. Then I know how much the land meant to me, how much this environment means to me, because once you don't have it, you yearn for it, you miss it, and you don't realize it. I didn't realize it. So when I came back, I just felt whole, pulls you in and calls you in. And that's why I came home, because it called me back in. I was called back home because it's the only place I felt that sense of wholeness.
Water. Water is sacred. Water is life. Water is a living entity. She has memories. She holds patterns. We are 70 to 80% of water. You know, for my call to action, I'd like for you to get a cup of water, talk to it, pray with it. You can share your most happiest memory. I think that is something that could have a huge impact. Or, you know, from micro to macro. So after you're done, you could drink this water. That's my call to action. Thank you.
Please don't blame me, just don't die right now. You got all these eyes on in your eyes, but I just can't come down. I see everybody talking, but I cannot hear a sound. I see shadows in their eyes, we're chasing sunshine up the clouds. They look at me funny when I write a check, cause most of these bitches is paying in sex. He dialed my number and call and collect, but I was road running just like a Corvette. A lady of leisure, forever a threat, who never compete, who never forget. I'm giving my all and I never neglect. If you show me equivalent respect, I later right out to my hideout in the mountains. My own bird white out and she still say that I'm handsome. Nobody's perfect, but we got the soul of champions. Wash away your sins with all that Gucci in the hand.